Steve Merrill back here for some Thursday NBA semifinal in-season tournament action in Las Vegas, Nevada. There are two big games tonight. I'm going to break down the first one, which goes early at 5 o'clock Eastern, so don't miss it. 5 o'clock Eastern tip on ESPN between the Pacers and Bucks. It's the finals, I guess, of the Eastern Conference, the semifinals overall for the in-season play, and it counts as a regular season game once again. In fact, the only game that will not count as a regular season game in this entire tournament is whoever wins tonight, and they play in the finals. That will be the only game that's a bonus game for the teams, but they make some extra money and they get the prestige of being the first ever in-season champs. So I do think both teams will be motivated here, perhaps. They were definitely motivated, obviously, the other night. Indiana pulling the upset against what's probably the best NBA team, the Boston Celtics. But Indiana was at home, young team at home, good offense, questionable defense as always. Yet that game did stay under the total. We had a little bit of an Indiana under, and it got close near the end. They put up about 30 points combined in the final 2 minutes of that game. But yes, it did still stay under. So a rare Indiana Pacer under. As we know this season, they've been basically all overs for the most part. That game landed on 234, stayed under the 245. And once again, Pacers won outright as a home dog. Meanwhile, we had plenty of offense in the Milwaukee Buck New York Knicks game. You know, the Knicks came into that game with the third most efficient defense in the league this year, and it was not even close. The two teams combined in the first half for over 145, or actually exactly, I believe, 145 points. The game was, what was it, 75-72, so 147 points combined in the first half, and it landed on 268, easily going over the 230 total. And keep in mind that the two teams combined for the highest combined field goal percentage shooting of any game this season. So there was no playoff atmosphere by either Milwaukee or New York. And it's hard to imagine there'll be much defense again tonight in this semifinal game. And we have seen a massive total posted on this one, opened at 254 and a half, and it wasn't high enough. It's as high as 256 and a half. Even see a 257 on Thursday morning start to pop at Circa in Las Vegas, Nevada. So should be another shootout. The Bucks, by the way, opened as a 4-point favorite, up to -5 across the board. It's hard not to like the over here. These two teams honestly could combine for 300 points if they play like they've often played this season. But it is a semifinal tournament game, which means maybe there'll be more defensive focus. I'm just not sure these teams are capable of defensive focus. I think the best way to play a potentially high-scoring game isn't on the total, though, when it's this inflated. It's to look at some player props. And yes, the player props will be jacked up a basket or so on everybody. But I honestly don't think they can adjust the player props high enough to compensate for how high this total is. And we'll look for some over players. Tyrese Halliburton, his first triple double ever in that a quarterfinal game on Monday, the upset win against the Celtics. So obviously he's going to have to play big again. And you can say, well, they're going to have him keyed, and they very well might. But his point total as of Thursday morning at DraftKings is around 28 and a half, 28 and a half minus 120. So I think it's a very modest total for what should be a very high scoring game. Once again, Halliburton had his first triple double the other night, only had 26 points, though. He got it done basically with, what was it, 10 rebounds and 13 assists. The assist is actually where he was big, and that got other players involved. Buddy Hield was actually the second leading scorer in that game with 21 points the other night. I'm not even seeing, actually, I am seeing a 14 and a half. So I think Buddy Hield over 14 and a half has some value once again, because if Halliburton doesn't go over, the assists are most likely going to Hield like they did in the last game. Of course, Lillard's been injured. He's only played 19 games this year, so he's always uncertain. That means Chris Middleton probably has a bigger game. 14 and a half points from Middleton is interesting on the season. He's averaging just 12, and 14 and a half is bumped up a little bit. But this is a guy also in a semifinal game, former NBA champ, obviously could go off a little bit here as well. And this is a guy, Middleton, who I think needs to have a big game tonight for the Bucks. But the Bucks, the assists should go to him from Hield or from Halliburton. I'm talking about the Bucks now. But what I meant to say was if Giannis isn't the focus point, which he will be, obviously, and that's who they're going to look to stop, I think Middleton picks up the slack. 12 is his over-under for the game tonight. And if we look at that Knick game the other night, Middleton played well, had 14 points, but he was only 6 for 12 shooting. He took 12 attempts, missed 6 of them, though. I think he hits a couple more shots. Giannis took 22 shots. He was unstoppable against New York. And once again, hard to imagine he doesn't have a huge game, but you're going to pay a premium with him at 32 and a half points. So of all the ones I mentioned, I think Buddy Hield over 14 and a half is a sneaky little over prop for tonight for the Indiana Pacers. He had a big game. He benefited from Halliburton's triple doubles with those assists. And I think Buddy Hield over 14.5 would be my top player prop tonight at 5 o'clock Eastern in this semifinal game between the Bucks and Pacers. Quick reminder, it's not too late to get the rest of the calendar year for just $199. If you want to win and win consistently for the rest of 2023, this is the offer for you. I've had it up since Monday, and we continue to win. In fact, each of the last 3 nights, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, perfect sweep of the board in college and pro basketball. It was $199 each of those nights. I told you the sooner you get on board, the sooner you get more winners. This offer goes through this weekend, but why wait? Get on board tonight on Thursday and get the rest of this week and the rest of the month, the rest of the year for just $8 a day with the $199 all sports, all access special. No promo code needed. Check it out on my page right now, Steve Merrill, WagerTalk.com.
Rob Vino here for the NBA Tip-Off Show Thursday, and it's in-season tournament time. 2 semifinal games going on here. I'm going to speak on the New Orleans Pelicans LA Lakers matchup. These games, of course, being played in Las Vegas, neutral site T-Mobile Arena. Total here in this game, open 230. We're seeing a slight push down to 229.5, and I'm going to take that side of this game, like under 229.5 for some reasons. And let's just start with the fact that both of these teams, if you read quotes, and especially the LA Lakers, a lot of quotes coming from LeBron James himself about how motivated he in particular is to bring this trophy home for his team. We're at the point now where 500,000 per player if you win this thing. These guys are going to care about these 2 games here this evening. In this one, I think defense might take hold. Few reasons why. Pelicans defense has held 7 of their last 9 opponents to 45.8% field goal shooting or less. Really good defense being played by the Pels recently. Those 7 games where they held their opponents beneath 45.8, those games have gone 6-1 under tonight's total of 229.5. So good sign there if you like to play the under in this game. In those particular games, New Orleans only allowed 107.6 points per game. By NBA standards, defenses that allow less than 108, that's a good defense. And to add to that, let's just throw in this quick note because it's important here. 3 of those 7 games, those were against the Sacramento Kings, maybe the league's best, most high-flying, high-octane offense. So I think it strengthens the point even further that New Orleans has been on a really good defensive roll as of late. For the Lakers, same kind of story here. 9 of their last 13 opponents have scored 110 or less. Those 9 games where they held opponents to 110 or less, 6-3 under 229.5, which is the total that we're staring at tonight. The Lakers on the season have been a good defensive team. Number 9 in defensive efficiency. New Orleans sits at 15, so you have 2 upper echelon team, upper half teams. Let's put it that way. But the Lakers are top 10 in defensive efficiency. For the Pelicans, they excel at 3-point defense. Their 3-point defense has been great so far this season. Number 4 in the NBA, and we know the Lakers can't shoot it from deep. Right, they're the second worst 3-point shooting team in the NBA. So we take away the threes from Los Angeles, depend on 2s and free throws for points. That helps an under as well. New Orleans hasn't been the best 3-point shooting team either. They rank 19th in the league. So I think when you start adding up all these components and then add in the fact that both of these teams are highly motivated, at some point in this game, a 48-minute game, the whole thing doesn't have to be defensive minded. But if we get 20 minutes, 24 minutes of really strong defense here, this game probably stays under 229.5. I wouldn't be surprised if during the day this game gets pushed a little further toward the under, but I think that's the way this one's going to go, under 229.5. So that's the way we're going to look at it here for the show. New Orleans and the Lakers, 9 o'clock Eastern time start, 6 o'clock Pacific in Las Vegas. We're going to play it under 229.5. And real quick, as previously mentioned by Steve, $199 gets you the rest of the year from of all my picks, whether they be college football bowl games. By the way, college football bowls ranked number 1 at WagerTalk in profit over the last 11 weeks. You have to go all the way back to mid-September when this run started. It's been a great run. I think we're up 60 units of profit, 62% winners. So you want to get in on the bowl games, the NBA, college hoops, all of that available for the rest of the year, all the way through December 31st. You can get it all for $199 from WagerTalk. That's their special offer. Once again, real quick here to sum up the play on the game tonight, New Orleans and the Lakers under 229.5. Good luck to everybody. Take care.